The Nepal Liver Foundation was very excited about learning about water pasteurization because they want to prevent hepatitis E outbreaks, which happens usually during the monsoon season. So they have this project going on, and this is one of the water pasteurizers they're pushing. There's also a big shortage of water. Okay, so in order to do that, we can catch rainwater from the roof, put it in cisterns or tanks, also build small lakes, and to have that water. And as a matter of fact, we can actually drill holes into the ground or into the concrete so that the groundwater gets higher up, so that tube wells don't run out of water. Very simple technology. Sanitation is a big thing. Fecal material getting into the ground, into the drinking water. So we also teach proper hygiene, hand washing, and things like that. Solar drying is very popular. Instead of throwing fruits and vegetables on the ground, now we put it in the solar dryer to get a better product, and women can sell it in the off-season, getting more money for it. We have different types of dryers for small and big volume.
And this that we're looking at is called the Solar Downdraft Food Dehydrator. And this is how it works. What happens is that the air that's going to go into this dehydrator is pulled in from the bottom, underneath the floor of the dehydrator, down here, down at this opening that's covered with wire so that the animals don't get in there. So the air calms down and settles down, drops any sediment that it may have in it, and starts to work its way through. So that air that has gone through the bottom here, it makes its way all along the bottom underneath the floor of this downdraft dehydrator. Through the floor, you may be able to see it from the camera angle there, there is an opening. So the air then can come up and it starts to get heated by the sun. There is something black behind this glass so that the air heats up hotter and hotter, and of course as it's doing that it rises. There is an opening here that goes inside the cabinet. Here is the opening inside the cabinet through which the hot air comes. Now, as we know, hot air rises, so now we have the hot air at the top of the cabinet. However, it is a downdraft dryer, so we want that hot air to somehow be pushed down. And the reason we wish for that to happen is that as the dryer is going through the food, and in this case we have beef jerky in here, what will happen is that the air will collect the moisture from the food and drop anyway. So we want it to be dropping and collecting moisture. So that is what it does, and the reason it does that is that when it comes over here and is so warm, it hits this black metal part of this wall, heats up this metal, which then heats up this chamber. This is actually hollow in here. It's a chimney. So it actually causes a draw. This hot air is drawn down, drawn through this vent, and then comes back up inside that chimney and out. So essentially what we have is, this is the airflow. It comes in underneath, it gets heated on the south side, it comes into the cabinet where the food is on its racks, goes down, gets sucked through the chimney and out. And that's all done without fans or any kind of mechanical apparatus at all. It's just simply thinking about how the air moves naturally and how to heat it at various stages so that we can get it to go where we want it to go and do what we want it to do. Also, two things to remember about this kind of way of drying food. The sun's rays don't actually hit the food, thereby all of the nutrients stay in it. And also, this particular kind of dryer does not get very, very hot. So that also preserves the nutrients in your food. And we've got rosemary in here also drying with the meat. And we also have pieces of garlic. And they stay beautiful and smell good. Everything keeps its proper texture and odor. The food becomes an amazing product after it's been dried by this kind of passive solar dehydrating.
Briquette making is a new project we started 8 years ago. This is a biomass briquette. Normally in the field, after agricultural season is over, they burn that agricultural waste. Now women collect that, okay? Then chop it up in small parts, soak it in water, and then you get this big slush. And then we have these briquette presses where they make these beautiful briquettes. And actually we make them much bigger these days now. Then you dry the briquettes in the sun, and women can sell this on the market. And the Foster organization, we got the BBC World Challenge Award for this program. Light is also a basic need, okay, so we integrated that into our programs too. So this fellow here makes these white light emitting diode lamps in his bedroom, and also we're using little solar panels there, because white LED lights are very, very efficient. So we eliminate the problem of indoor air pollution and kerosene lamps exploding and things like that. Okay, how do we start these programs? So you have to go to these villages, do demonstrations to see if they are interested in this. So we cook and show all the technologies. And then after that, we have project meetings with the women's leaders, the village leaders, and try to find champions in the organization. And then if they want to do this, we have training workshops in group form as well as in individual form. And we always want to have them pay a little bit of money for it if they can. So we are not importing any of these products. Everything is made locally to get the local economy going, and this eventually should lead to sustainability, because that's, we cannot give the money all the time. This is another, I just completed this matching grant project in the remote area, Rasuwa village. Again, the same things, empower women, they have the same problems as before I talked about. Here we installed water pipes and also installed water taps for safe water. And then the idea is, of course, to replace the smoky fires with solar cookers and rocket stoves, and giving workshops. And now to reduce the poverty in this here, this is a perfect village for tourists here. Now the tourists don't want to stay in a very smoky environment, so that's why we want also to improve the environment. Additionally, we want to teach vocational skills. Okay, so we teach them carpentry. So here you see 17 of these villagers go to Kathmandu to learn how to make solar cookers and dryers, and here they show their certificates here. We have a different group of 17 villagers here who learn how to do metalworking, and here they make these rocket stoves and these heat retaining boxes. And then we give them the tools later on so they can do that themselves. I've also been promoting eco-lodges, the sun rooms. On the top right there you see a sun room here, and then also promoting solar water heaters, and those are now mainstream on the trekking routes. I also interview lodge keepers on the trekking routes. How much fuel wood are you using and for what? And then teach them how to do some cooking. And this is my backpack tracker's cooker, which is less than a pound. And I use that as an example how you can cook with in 20 minutes I can have soup, and in 35 minutes I have a can of rice. You see many of these parabolic cookers, the SK14s. They're very, very heavy. So I designed I call it an Everest cooker here. It's very lightweight, 6 pounds. and it is collapsible. So many of these things can be brought up into the remote area. And of course, here's my little tracker scooper here. Other program is the high schools. 12 high schools, we want to teach sustainable living type of technologies, water recycling, waste, and so forth. And the students learn how to make these solar cookers, solar water heaters, and other things. So we should not forget the USA. So in the USA, give presentations to Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Rotary clubs, environmental groups, etc., etc. Then do demonstrations in the field and environmental fairs and things like that. We get our granddaughter involved in this stuff too, the next generation. And then with high schools, they have interact clubs. They want to do something good in the world. So we had projects there to make these cook kits for the Congo, for the Tibet project, and also for the homeless locally. Also fourth grade kids, 35 of these kids here, we made 35 of those cook kits in less than 2 hours. And then also tell them how the rest of the world lives in poverty and so forth. So, I'm always a little emotional, so thank you, Barbara, for what you have done. Okay, your inspiration for all of you have done. Please.